then it won't update. Can you hear me, Tom? This is Dwayne.
Yes.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Tony. I like your backdrop too. Nice.
Beautiful.
I've got another one.
Hello, Richard.
Hello. I like your beard.
Thank you.
I wish mine doesn't grow that way.
I guess I gotta take advantage of it while I can. I want it to be Santa Claus, but there we go.
Let's get started, Tom. If you could take us out of,
Recording in progress.
I'd like to call the January 12th meeting of the NCIP to order. If we could have roll call.
Okie doke, can everybody hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Great, okie doke. Guajiro Oaks. Alta Mesa,
Here,
Casanova Oak Knoll,
Here,
Deer Flats, Del Monte Beach,
Here.
Del Monte Grove Laguna Grande,
Present.
Downtown,
here,
Fisherman Flats,
Here.
Glenwood,
Here.
Monterey Vista,
Here.
New Monterey, okie doke, Oak Grove,
Here.
Old Town,
Here.
Skyline,
good evening.
and Villa Del Monte.
There's one in every group.
Yeah. It's always
Oh, did I hear Villa Del Monte?
I was trying to. Here.
Oh, there we go. Hi there, Dwayne. Okie doke. We have our quorum, Rick.
Great. Tom, do you need to read a standard thing before the meeting starts?
I do. And it's a new one this year. So
Oh,
let's, well, yeah, it's a little bit longer, but more detailed. In person, the city of Monterey is committed to the safe attendance of its public meetings. Masks are required for all who attend in person, regardless of vaccination status, except those who are younger than 2 years old or have a medical condition that prevents wearing a mask. We ask that attenders in the council chamber keep their phones and devices muted to prevent audio interference and feedback with a hybrid meeting. The Zoom procedures follow. The City of Monterey seeks to continue to offer virtual methods for public participation in meetings. If you aren't joining us in person here in the council chamber, there are 2 ways to virtually participate in this meeting. You may join the meeting directly on Zoom Gov using the Zoom app on your computer or mobile device, and you can also call into the Zoom meeting. To join the meeting on Zoom on your computer, smartphone, or telephone, use the link or phone number on the agenda at isearchmonterey.org. And because the meeting has already begun, you'll find the agenda under the Recent tab. To call into the Zoom meeting, dial toll-free 833-568-8864, then enter meeting ID, which is 161-843-6636 and the pound symbol. And if prompted to enter a participant ID, press the detailed in Zoom are available at monterey.org/public meetings. To make a public comment this evening using the Zoom app, you can virtually raise your hand by pressing the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen. If you dialed in by telephone, raise your hand by dialing *9 and then unmute yourself when called upon by dialing *6. You must do both. Public commenters will be muted until it is their turn to speak. Public speakers will be called on in the order of their hands raised. Please stay within the time limit that has been established for tonight's meeting, which is 3 minutes, which we will show using a countdown timer on the screen. If you are connected live on Zoom, the timer is accurate with no delay. Tonight's meeting is also streamed live on the city's YouTube account, which is accessible at youtube.com/City of Monterey with an approximate 10-second delay, and also on Comcast Channel 25 with an up to 90-second delay. As always, we look forward to receiving public comment.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Yes.
We'll begin the meeting now with item 1, which is introduction of 2023 NCIP representative and alternates. Tom?
Thank you. We have, we're all returning so far this year. And Alyssa, I don't have the sheet in front of me. Can you just run through the list of representatives this year, Alyssa?
Sure. Okie doke. So we have Aguajiro Oaks, Representative Olivia Morgan, Alta Mesa, Representative Rick Hoyer, Casanova Oak Knoll, Richard Ruccello, Representative, and Scott Dent is alternate. Deer Flats, Representative Dave Overton. Del Monte Beach, Representative Jamie Fields, alternate Harry Nagel. Del Monte Grove Laguna Grande, Representative Scott Hansen, alternate Joseph Hill. Downtown, Representative William or Kurt Tipton, and alternate Bella Lofaso. Fisherman's Flats, Representative Tom Rowley, alternate Marilyn Maxner. Glenwood, Representative Lee Whitney, alternate Amanda Priest. Monterey Vista, Representative Jean Rash, and alternate Hans Janisch. New Monterey, alternate Shinier Ogbana. Oak Grove, Representative Luce Adam, and alternate Pat Erlinger. Old Town, Representative April Harrison, alternate Sue Ricketson. Skyline, Representative David Duke, alternate John Mara, and Villa Del Monte, Representative Dwayne Peterson, and alternate Tammy Jennings.
Okay, thank you, Alyssa. You have to be David again. Okay, well, you should just change your name. Right? No, okay. We'll move on to item 2, which is a approval of the minutes for August 18th meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Are there anyone need to do any changes or corrections or anything to the minutes? And I'm assuming, Alyssa, you'll let me know if there are any hands raised out there?
Correct, and we have no hands raised.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Skyline is moved for approval of minutes, seconded by
Jean.
Monterey Vista. All in favor? Or excuse me, roll call, please.
Okey doke. Alta Mesa,
Aye.
Casanova Oak Knoll,
Aye.
Del Monte Beach,
Aye.
Del Monte Grove Laguna Grande,
Aye.
Downtown,
Aye.
thank you, Kurt. Fisherman Flats,
Aye.
Glenwood. Aye. Right, Monterey Vista,
Aye.
New Monterey,
Aye.
Oak Grove,
Aye.
Old Town,
Aye.
Skyline,
Yay.
and Villa Del Monte.
Aye.
A motion carries, minutes are approved. Okay, moving on. Next time is public comments. This is the time set aside for any member of the public to address the NCIP on matters within our purview that are not on tonight's agenda. You have 3 minutes. If you're in the audience, please go ahead and raise your hand and we'll unmute you when you're called upon. I only see one person in the public and I don't see him rushing to the podium. So is there anyone in the online, Alyssa?
Yes, we have one member of the public online.
If you go ahead and unmute them, please introduce yourself. And go ahead.
Hi, this is Pat Venza. I live in the Monterey Vista neighborhood. Over the past 5 years or so, the NCIP program has lost a lot of its credibility, not only with residents, but also within many of its own committee members. Why is it all this work done when the list just gets longer and longer with few projects completed each year? By the time a project is ready to be done, which could be years later, the price could be doubled. Now, I know the committee did a lot of work this last year to lessen the list, but I know it's still quite long, and that 7 projects were done from February to December. So there's still a lot of work to do on the current list. So why add to the project list this year? Why not give the staff a chance to get a few of the past year projects done before adding to it? So my suggestion, and I'm hoping just for discussion amongst your own selves and some thought put into it, if at all possible, I don't even know how your charter reads on this, but to save all that TOT for this year, because each of the projects coming in, I know has gotten more and more expensive. And if that's not possible, then a few residents need to put in for large projects. My one idea would be forest management at a much higher level than what has been done in the past. There's a lot of on Nextdoor about the forest needing better management, not only for outages, which I know it's not so much the city's problem as PG&E's, but the trees falling and whatever, and also the fuel that needs to be removed. That would just be one. Others ideas might be microgrids to be studied and developed, which can also be funded partially by state and federal funds. So I just want to throw that out there with the idea that we don't need to be adding more projects to the list. If we could find projects that serve everyone in the community, 1 or 2 projects, I just think we'd be way ahead of the game and give the staff a chance to catch up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pat. As you know, the way this works is we're not allowed to be responding to public comments because it's not an agendized item. But I'm sure everyone member here heard it and will take your comments to heart. Thank you. Any other member of the public? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment section and go to item 3 for staff information report, which is presentation of the program active and completed projects.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to try and share my screen. I tried this earlier and it did not work very well. So I'm going to try and do that right now for just several slides.
Okay. There you go. Working.
Oh, it's up?
At
excellent.
least to us here. I don't know about the general public.
Okay,
I can see it.
thank you. If I can advance my slides, there we go. So thank you, Chair. Oh, it still said, well, let's see if it works. I'm still getting error messages. The
Now you're the host and not sharing.
Tom is muted.
And you're muted, Tom.
wow, everything at once. So my screen share is not working this evening, but I just wanted to make everyone aware that
Screen share is working. It's your PowerPoint that's not. So maybe if you just pull up the screen, then share, we can do it one at a time.
Yeah, because we can see your email.
Yeah, we're watching you scroll through your
oh,
email.
my email.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. I'm not scrolling.
Okay,
Back up.
there you go. Now, why don't
You
you
better shut that down.
just keep it to this and click to the second screen,
Yeah,
and we'll be able to see it.
remote.
Okay, can you see that screen that says 3? I can't tell.
I can see it online.
Or-
So
Okay,
I'll
Yeah,
put
you're
your
just like
presentation up
about
and kind of try
showing
to
the
follow
first page.
along.
I can see it, but it's too small. I can't read it.
no, what I was trying,
Tom, you might want to turn your video off.
Oh, is it? Huh.
Okay, speaking for Tom's, what he is showing is basically what is happening is the status of all projects is on the city's website now.
Oh.
Under monterey.org/NCIP.
Okay.
So as we're moving forward, they're updating there. I'm not sure on what frequency, but you're able to check on projects online without having to wait for reports.
So we actually do update that monthly, Rick, on
Updated
there. And if
monthly.
you look to the left, well, the screen share went away, but on the left-hand pane there under related documents, you can also click active and completed reports there as well, just in case you don't want to go through all the text on that front page. But yep, it's updated monthly on or around, I believe, the 14th of each month.
And keep in mind, this is only going to be the projects that we voted on last year and ones that were never defunded that were still ongoing. So we will still have on the board again this year, all those defunded projects that we did not fund last year. And at some point, we will need to decide what we're going to do moving into the future about those. But for right now, they're still coming back as a project without anyone having to resubmit them.
Without having to resubmit.
Without having to resubmit. Correct. So it'll be we'll be handling it just like we did in the last cycle. The other thing, while Tom is figuring things out, I'll just semi on this matter since I did review the agenda with him last week. One of the things that is slowing down, and Andrea, you can chime in here if I get the numbers wrong. We are hopefully back at 50% strength in the project and engineering department. So it is, they're doing things, trying to look at different approaches to doing things. So they actually brought in a new project manager, hopefully was the latest hire, which will help speed things along and does not have to be a fully licensed engineer. But they are having a hard time recruiting engineers, period.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
So we are bringing Reginald, so he will be here next week and he will be the NCIP project manager. He has over 23 years of experience and he comes from San Diego, and he also has a professional engineering license. So as to what Rick was saying, we are having a hard time. We're going to try and do a virtual career fair, see if we can reach out to the different areas and see if we can get engineers. Right now, between the engineering positions that we have 19 positions and we have 10 people. So we are quite a bit shorthanded, and we have 4 licensed engineers, including Reginald and including myself and Tom Hardy. So we also are looking for licensed engineers. We're also working with consultants, but we're finding that consultants are having the same challenges that we are. So even the private sector is looking for people, and their salaries tend to be quite a bit higher. So we're trying to be competitive. We're trying to cast out a very wide net and see what we can get, and we're opening the recruitment for engineers of all levels. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you. So we've always had an issue historically of lists getting big. However, right now, in the 30 plus years I've been involved with NCIP, I don't ever remember it being this bad in low number of staffing. So we need to give patience.
And I'm sorry for jumping in again, but as Rick mentioned, we are looking at different ways of doing things so that we can keep getting the projects out
and just doing things differently. Like the project manager is a brand new position that we recruited for. And we got a new one at the Presidio. We got one for CIP and we got one for NCIP.
Okay, thank you. Tom, you ready to?
Yeah, if
Right
Cody
after
can
Miller.
share, I cannot. I'm not gonna try that again.
Okay,
Thank you.
we are seeing your, okay, that's just the.
That's Cody's. And then we're down on like maybe slide 6, Cody.
Again, on
Oh.
the website, there is the complete listing of status of all the projects and where they are, so we can go in and check.
Yes, exactly. And that's really what I was trying to show by this slide was just when you type in well, you don't even have to do the W's anymore. Monterey.org/NCIP. Right at the top of the very first page, the home page there are 2 links at the bottom where that orange arrow is pointing. One is for the active projects and one is for the completed projects. And if you go to the next slide, Cody, we have a list of didn't have time this week to pull together the list for January, but we have a list of, this was last month's, of all the active projects, and it's really showing the budget so you can get a sense of how active each one is. And then the next slide, Cody, is showing the projects. These are the projects that have been completed since April of 2020. When a number of them were defunded by council that year. So this is just a running total of the completed projects that we've pulled off the active projects list since then. And we'll keep that updated. I asked Alyssa to pull the data for that, but again, I'm sorry, I apologize. Did not have a chance to complete that, getting that published this week on the website. I'll get it tomorrow.
Okay,
He said confidently.
as long as you have power and the next storm doesn't wipe you out.
Yes, and I know I feel like I'm on the island over here. I live on the wrong side of the river today. We're expecting to be back.
CNN, you might not get back. I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I'm hopeful. I feel like I'm on the island and you guys are all where the action is happening. The other, just the last thing, and I apologize if this was discussed, but tonight is actually also Alyssa, our administrative assistant, her last meeting with us too. But we have also in attendance Fatima, who will be taking over for her beginning next month. And I think she's sitting next to Cody right now. So that's the other, as far as staff. And Andrea mentioned that Reginald will be starting next week, so you will see him at the next meeting as well.
Okay, great. We look forward to meeting with them and working with them.
Yes. Good.
Uh,
That's it.
Go ahead. Anything else?
No, unless someone had a question for staff, anything?
Are there any questions for staff either? I don't see any hands raised here.
We have a hand raised online.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, this is John Sovereign, and I was just curious to understand how projects that were on the cusp in the selection for last year would be handled, what the, if any, update on the status of those, or when they would no longer be eligible to be activated. Thank you.
I believe he's talking about the cutoff projects, Tom.
Yes.
When do we have an idea if there would be funds to do the cutoff project? And my assumption is if they are not funded by beginning of the next cycle, they would go into the pot to go back on the wall to be voted on again. But when do you think we might know what, if any of those might have funds available to them?
We've been we haven't had a fantastically great start. working on the projects this year. So we can work on that and look at the funding that is available, but we haven't had projects come off the list. We started to work on a number of the ones that we thought were going to be quite easy to complete, the rapid flashing beacon projects, the street, and there was a couple of street lights that were in there, just the ones that we could get a consultant on board to get out and install those pretty, as far as staff time, pretty quickly. But we found that there's still a lot of delay in shipping and receiving materials. So there's still a lag in the system. So that was our hope, that we could polish off another, half a dozen projects very quickly, but we haven't seen that pan out as we expected it to. So
In fact, to answer the question of John Sovereign, probably mid-February, we will know if there are any at that point that will be able to just move ahead. And if not, the cutoff projects would then go up on the wall.
yes.
Okay. Jamie?
Clarifying question. We did the voting based on a very high level estimate of cost. And we were going to come back and tune up those estimates. How does that affect the cutoff process?
Actually, didn't we do that already?
I don't know. You can remind me. Are we trued up on our costs to the point where we don't have more variability coming into the project list from that?
I think it's going to constantly be getting trued up, given current continuing supply chain issues and inflation still. So it's going to continue to have to be continually trued up. I think we're getting ready to start the next voting process and allocation process. So we'll have to have a decision on cutoff projects by middle of February so that they could go into the process with the others if they're not going to be able to be funded. April.
Quick question, since there's going to be a transition period here between the new gentleman coming in and Tom, if our residents have questions about
Tom
specific,
is still going to be overseeing. The
Oh,
new
okay.
gentleman is a project manager who's going to be
okay.
more,
all right, so then
if,
questions can be
correct me if
directed
I'm
to
wrong,
Tom. Okay.
Tom and Andrea, he's going to be day-to-day running, making sure things are being done and
That's great.
helping get things done.
Yes, that
Yeah.
is correct.
We still have Tom. He
I'm not
can't
going anywhere. Well, unless my Wi-Fi cuts out.
Okay, we'll move on to, are there any other questions either online or here? Okay. I'm assuming there are none. Alyssa, you'll tell me if there's anyone, right?
Correct, there's none.
Next meeting, I'll bring my laptop again so I can see the public folks, but we'll move on to an ICIP spokesperson reports. The only thing I really want to say at this point on this is I want to welcome our new mayor, although I don't know if he's in attendance or not. I heard he might be, in case he wanted to make any comments to us. But I also want to welcome 2 brand new council members. I'd love to see them at some point, maybe attend one of our meetings and start getting a feel for NCIP. And we look forward to working with them in the future. Other than that, I really don't have any other spokesperson reports. So let's move on to first public appearance item. With number 5, adopt the NCIP schedule, community deadline and meeting schedule. You all should have gotten a copy of it within your report. Basically, Tom, do you want to walk through it, or I can, either way? Might be easier if I do it here.
That would be fine either way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The deadline for nominating projects will be February 10th. So anyone out there who wants to submit a project, you can get forms online and you can submit them online, or you can mail them in or drop them off. But they need to be in-house by the 10th in order to be considered for this cycle. Anything that were to come in after that will still be kept, but will be delayed until the next cycle. On the 17th, all traffic-related projects are going to be sent to to staff to review, and they'll be reviewed by traffic, fire, all the relevant entities, so that we have that information before we begin. 23rd will be the next meeting of NCIP, where it'll be the preliminary screening. This is the weeding out process, where we're looking at things that are duplicate, already funded, not eligible to be an NCIP, anything of that nature. So it's really the first look at what we're going to be dealing with. The 30th will be the first committee review of projects, and we'll go through the first half of the neighborhoods. And this is when we're asking questions, we're giving pitches on it. It is not general public meeting, but all of our meetings are public, so public will be heard on all issues. So it'll be the first half of the neighborhoods. And if needed on April 6th is a follow-up meeting for that first half of neighborhoods if we don't get through them all. Anything that requires, that affects traffic circulation will be in front of the council on the 4th of April, because it needs to have their approval before we proceed to even be considering it. Then on the 13th of April will be the second half of the neighborhoods first go through review, with a follow-up if needed on the 20th. Then on the 27th will be the second review, or the real formal public hearing for the first half of the neighborhoods, with a follow-up on the 4th of May if needed. Second half of the neighborhoods will go through their public hearings on the 11th of May, with a follow-up on the 18th of May if needed. And then voting night is set for April 1st. Excuse me, not April, that was an April Fool's joke, sorry. June 1st.
Wow.
And should we not get through it all that night, although we have been getting through it, we've been very expeditious, but we don't know how many projects there'll be. The June 8th will be the follow-up. At that point, our work is done, and it goes to Planning Commission on the 18th of July to ensure conformity with all plans, general plans and specific plans. On the 9th of August, it goes in front of Parks, all Parks projects go in front of the Parks and Recreation Committee for their feedback. And then, according to the schedule, on the 19th of September is when the program will be in front of City Council for approval. So, our usual small schedule. So, if anyone knows they're going to have issues with any of those dates in advance, you might want to make sure your alternates are up to speed and attending all the meetings and so forth. But if everyone could put these in your calendar to make sure we're covered, that would be great. Any questions or anything on the schedule? Kurt?
So Tom, given this schedule, will you have enough time to go through and tell the committee members if they have conflicts or not? So if needed, we can go and resolve those.
Yes, we will try and get that sooner than later. What we need to do is get through the projects. Once we get the projects weeded out, we can begin that. But yes, we'll get that sooner this year than last, Kurt.
Really, pretty much you could start getting a feel for the ones that are issues as soon as deadline closes.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Duke?
How many projects are coming back from last voting round? Do we have a count?
123. Really?
So last year we dealt with, as I recall, 205.
We started with that.
Yeah, and then some were withdrawn and other things, so, yep.
Yeah, so it's not as bad as it might seem in terms of roster compared to what we've handled in the last.
However, we might have more submittals than we had last year, which we did not have a lot of, so hard to say. It's Jamie.
It says second review, but we are going to stand with the old practice of that second review meeting being the meeting where we're inviting all the public
Yes.
comment.
Yeah.
So it doesn't say that, but public comment really is second review.
Well, they're able to comment in first, but
Yeah.
really the public hearing, which is really for the public to be talking and anything new that might come up on our end, but it's really, that is the one for the public to make their pitch. Jane,
Do we anticipate that Monterey Vista might break the same way alphabetically as last year so that the public?
until,
Yeah.
put it this way, by February 23rd,
Well-
we would have an idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the
Because-
public needs to pay attention to that for the cutoff neighborhoods, who's in the first half,
Yep.
who's in the second half, pay attention to the dates.
Yeah, because it will depend on how much is submitted from different neighborhoods, because we try to have it a roughly half. It's impossible to really get it exactly because you don't want to split a neighborhood over two different nights. Is anyone, any member in the, who's attending remotely have their hand?
Yep,
Alyssa,
I have, oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there, Rick. I have Richard Riccello's hand raised.
Mr. Ruccello.
Yes, it's a procedural question. Last year, we had a lot of defunded projects, but a lot of us chose not to pursue some of those projects last year. How do we go about resubmitting those projects? Or is it automatic? Or do we have to type it up again and submit it? Defunded projects.
Okay, of the defunded projects, I'm not real clear. There were projects last year that were submitted which were withdrawn totally. And then there were projects that were on the board, but we may not have advocated for them. If they were on the board still and voted on, and they were a defunded project, they will be back up on the board automatically this cycle.
But if they weren't on the board, then we have to resubmit them.
If they weren't on the board, correct. It means they were withdrawn or whatever, they're not going to be coming forward, correct.
Okay, thank you.
And if you have any doubts, submit them, because if it's duplicate, it'll get merged into the one in any event. So that way you're covered. I got two participants with raised hands. Alyssa, who's next?
Hey there, I have got Hans Janisch.
Go ahead.
Oh, just a question. You have the Parks and Rec reviewing our projects after voting night. I presume they will also be reviewing all the projects before voting night so we can have their input. That's not really clear on the schedule. Thank you.
Yes, I should have clarified the 9th of August is a formality for consistency with Parks and Rec master plan only. They will have an opportunity at one of their meetings to address and give their feedback on all the different park related projects as we've had in the past. But this is also that we've always had the two formalities that are required of Planning Commission and Parks and Rec to determine consistency with adopted city plans.
So actually, at the bottom of the schedule, folks, it shows the two meetings for PRC and Museum of the Cultural Arts Commission that they would meet for those initial reviews. Those are the meetings that Tom attends of theirs to present preliminary projects.
I missed that.
I missed that too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alyssa, is there anyone else?
Yes, I have Tammy Jennings.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I figured it out. Never mind. Thank you.
No problem. Any other member of the committee with the hand up, Alyssa?
Nope, we have no hands raised in the public or with any of our panelists.
In which case, this is an action item of the public appearance. Can I have a motion to adopt the schedule as submitted?
I so move.
We've got
I'll second.
a second from Jean, and Tom Rowley made the motion. Roll call, please.
Okey doke, Alta Mesa,
Aye.
Casanova Oak Knoll,
Aye.
Deer Flats,
Aye.
Del Monte Beach,
Aye.
Del Monte Grove Laguna Grande,
Aye.
Downtown,
Aye.
Fisherman Flats,
Aye.
Glenwood,
Yes.
Monterey Vista,
Yes.
New Monterey,
Yes.
Oak Grove,
Yes.
Old Town,
Aye.
Skyline,
Yay.
and Villa Del Monte.
Aye.
And
Okey doke, Rick.
Alyssa, I want you to make sure you have noted that New Monterey is here, because I'm hearing Shaneri voting, and I wasn't sure that she was here when we did the formal roll call, so I want to make sure.
Correct. She arrived in time for this motion, but I do have her marked as her approximate attendance.
She voted on the previous motion as well, so.
Yes, I
Oh,
apologize. It
correct.
was
Sorry
a little
about that.
bit late.
No need.
Yes,
to-
correct. She was in time for the minutes.
You were noted as being here. Okay, motion carries. Next item is item 6, election of NCIP chair, chair spokesperson and vice chair alternate. Go ahead and open the floor to nominations. Mr. Ruccello, go ahead.
Yes, I nominate Rick Hoyer. I do not know anybody else that can do the job you're doing, Rick. And I appreciate every minute you put into it. But you have the talent and the patience to do this properly. So I move we nominate Rick Hoyer.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I will do it again, but someone needs to start thinking about someone else to do this at some point. I don't want this to be a job in perpetuity.
I think it's 40.
Any other nominations for chair or vice chair? Everyone rush to the podium. Well, let's go ahead and finish off chair first then. Okay, are there any other nominations for chair? Are there any hands raised, Alyssa?
Richard, did you want to speak again or oh, no, he lowered it. So we're good.
All right, so in which case, we'll call the question. Roll call, Alyssa, please.
Okey doke. Alta Mesa,
No,
Casanova Oak Knoll,
Aye.
Deer Flats,
never voted for myself. I still won't.
Aye.
Del Monte Beach,
Aye.
Del Monte Grove Laguna Grande,
Aye.
Downtown,
Aye.
Fisherman Flats,
Aye.
Glenwood,
Aye.
Monterey Vista,
Aye.
New Monterey,
Aye.
Oak Grove,
Aye.
Old Town,
Aye.
Skyline,
Yay.
and Villa Del Monte.
Aye for life.
Okay, motion carries with one opposed. I just, for everyone in the public understand, I never vote for myself for anything, so I just don't think it's right. So, I will endeavor to serve you all for another year, but please, at some point, let's give someone else a chance to do it as well. Let's have nominations for vice chair.
As long as Rick is chair.
Well, that's already been done, so.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion and second for Jean Rosh. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Is any hands raised, Alyssa?
Nope.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the nominations and roll call, please, for
Oh.
Jean Rosh of Monterey Vista for vice chair.
Alta Mesa,
Aye.
Casanova Oak Knoll,
Aye.
Deer Flats,
Yes.
Del Monte Beach,
Aye.
Del Monte Grove Laguna Grande,
Aye.
Downtown,
Yes.
Fisherman's Flats,
Aye.
Glenwood,
Aye.
Monterey Vista,
Abstain.
New Monterey,
Aye.
Oak Grove,
Do that too.
Aye.
Old Town,
Aye.
Skyline,
Yay.
and Villa Del Monte.
Aye.
Okey doke.
Motion carries with one abstention. Congratulations, Gene.
Thank you. It'll be easier than last year.
Madam
I
Vice.
plan to be absent a whole lot, so you'll have, no, I'm just kidding. That was the last agenda item, so we'll move on to committee member comments. Anyone have any general comments? We'll start up here at the dais. Go ahead, Glenwood.
I'd like to wish Alyssa good luck in her new endeavor.
Mm,
You were
yeah.
absolutely fabulous working with the committee, and I'm sure Tom and those guys are all gonna miss you. And we welcome our new
Yeah.
young lady to our team, and looking forward to working projects and things with you also.
Yeah.
Thank you. Also, I see Richard has his hand raised, and then we'll go to Jamie.
I also want to compliment Alyssa.
Yeah.
Every moment I contacted you, Alyssa, was a pleasure.
Yeah.
You were competent, you had answers to every question. If you didn't, you found those answers. I appreciate every minute you served here. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Jamie?
Ditto, thank you, Alyssa, and welcome, Fatima. But I would also say I'm excited about the project manager thing. I think project
Yeah.
management is really the key to getting the list to be shorter. So
Yeah.
we really look forward to our new team member.
Dean?
A couple things. Monterey Vista has often had so many projects that we needed two alternates. I don't know the administrative issue on that, but I want to note that Bruce Sinetta is here. He will be our second alternate, and Hans has a sabbatical this year, so he'll be traveling a lot. So it really is going to be, you'll see a lot of Bruce. And I just want to acknowledge him and his work. He's worked very hard as our second alternate for many, many years. So I want to do that shout out. Also, Alyssa, you have been a joy and this just the sweetest personality. So wherever you are, good luck to you and thank you for all your work. And then I'm wondering about Ms. Venza's comment, and I'm just thinking out loud. I'm wondering, last year we had a lot of discussion about strategy, about projects, and we were able to fit it into our discussion, but I'm wondering if our next meeting, we should agendize a few minutes where we really are talking about our various ideas on strategy. We had a lot to say last year. I bet we have a lot to say this year. There was never set time for it last year, although I think we all said our piece as we went through different topics, but I wonder if it would be attractive to really set aside a few minutes where that's the topic.
I think we can do that. I think that the appropriate one would be preliminary screening meeting before we start diving into everything.
Good.
It's, keep in mind though, I mean, we're gonna have a lot of times to talk about different things, but I don't know that we're ever really gonna be able to come up with a formal strategy, but definitely talking about it and approaches and concerns is very important. I think we actually have a whole lot less backlog of projects right now than we have historically had because we had all the ones funded. So depends on how you want to count those. But
I think that's a great approach.
yeah, okay. So Tom, if you could, for the preliminary meeting, have that be an agenda item after we finish preliminary screening, which is a key thing we have to make sure we get done. Mr. Rowley, and then Mr. Ruccello.
Yes, we went through this some time ago where we took a buy for a year and it really didn't work. And those of us have been involved in this program for a long time. That sounds real good in theory. We just need to keep plowing ahead. I'm very confident in the talents of Tom and Cody to get on top of some of these projects. And I think there'll be some real movement. We finally see it. And when I drive by on Garden Road and you drive by, it's near the entrance to the golf course. there's a bench there that's dedicated to Glenn Ensign, who was the number 2 guy in this program for several years. He designed very tricky project for us very successfully. We had flooding at the entrance to our neighborhood, and it still works unbelievably. But anyway, Glenn was very handy, and he was like a project manager assisting, like in this case, Tom and Cody. I think we can really look forward to getting on top of these projects and moving forward. So I'm very confident of that. So thank you.
Thank you. Richard?
Yes, Tom, I actually sponsored that memorial for Glenn on Garden Road. And he was an important person in this program. What I'd like to talk about is if we concentrate on very large projects to simplify the project, it kind of cuts out the small neighborhood. The small projects sometimes have the biggest bang for us. But I do have concerns about staffing and getting the projects designed and actually constructed. Hopefully by that period, Tom could give us a better idea of what we can and can't get accomplished. But I'm going to be sure to resubmit the projects, which I didn't do last year because of the uncertain nature of the pandemic. But those projects were funded, and I'll be bringing them back. But I do have that reluctance about staffing and what we can actually do and what it's going to cost us, because everything with construction I am seeing is just skyrocketing. And can you even get the materials to do it? I have concerns about that. Things aren't better. Just go in the grocery store and look at the empty shelves. You'll see what I'm talking about. Not much has changed in 3 years, but I do want to have that discussion, and I'd like to be able to get some counseling on what can actually be done in this period of time. I know in 2020, when the council defunded everything right at the beginning of the pandemic, we had 22 projects, and we've had 2 years and 1 month to complete those 22 projects. I'll be reviewing the completed list to see what's been done. But as Tom said, they haven't made much progress lately, and I understand the staffing issues. I just need a dose of reality so I can form my opinion. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Are there any members virtually who have their hands up?
No, that was it.
I'm going to chime in for a couple of comments. I also want to echo the comments that my fellow members have made on Melissa. Thank you so much for the work you've put in. You'll be missed. And hopefully we haven't scared off our newbie yet. We really don't bite, even though sometimes it may seem like we do.
We growl.
But speaking to backlog of projects and other things, I think we're liable to see a potentially large change, because to me, the importance of a project manager is even more so right now. Because as you have more work outsourced, as you have more varying things and following up on contracts and all the other things, those need someone to spearhead that, keep on top of it, move it forward, and keep the full-time engineers designing and doing engineering instead of doing the project management work. We've been using licensed engineers to be doing things that project management, which have to happen also and are important. But I think it'll allow us to get a better handle on outsourcing different aspects. If we end up trying to do remote engineering and so forth, that coordination element will be critical. So we'll see how it works in practice, but I'm excited that we're having a new gentleman starting for it. That is all the comments I've got. Are there any other last minute comments? If not, we'll adjourn.
Just for me, just wanted to thank everyone for the well wishes. I really appreciate it, and it's been an honor serving on NCIP. So thank you very much.
You're most welcome, Melissa. You will be missed. And I don't think anyone's asked, where are you going?
Yeah.
I am actually leaving the city, so I'm going to an organization outside of the city.
Oh.
Well, you can tell us what that is, unless it's a secret.
Well, I can discuss it offline with people if that's okay.
Oh,
But
no problem. Sorry to put you on the spot. Okay. We are adjourned.